Hi, my name is Sarah, and today we're going to empower ourselves. One of the first things that I suggest doing when you start to learn how to empower yourself is to let go of what is disempowering in your life. And I have found that the most powerful force that tries to overpower us is our own mind. And so in this video, I'm going to show you there are many beliefs, there are many thoughts, there are many voices, if you will, that are very disempowering. And I've come to well acquainted with many of them. The first one is called, nobody is going to take me seriously. This thought is one of the most disempowering thoughts that you can have. What the root of that cause is, the root of the thought that nobody's going to take you seriously is the fact that you yourself are not taking yourself seriously. Now, you might say, hey, Sarah, you don't understand. I actually had somebody that was my boyfriend or my husband or my mom or my brother or my friend listen to my ideas and they didn't take me seriously. You know, and nobody ever takes me seriously. And then I would say, honey, maybe I'm talking to myself, maybe I'm talking to you, I don't know, but I would say, hey, guess what? That's because you didn't take yourself seriously. Now, I know boundaries are a big deal. Boundaries are something you're supposed to learn as a child and you're supposed to take them into adulthood. And if you did, you might not actually be watching this video. But when you take yourself seriously, you set boundaries with your friends, with your relatives, with yourself. I'm not saying it's the easiest possible thing. And there are different hacks and tips and tricks that you can probably find to figure out how to take yourself more seriously. But I know that for me, one of the main ways that I can take myself more seriously is by recognizing that voice. So when you hear yourself, because sometimes it almost feels audible, say to yourself, oh, nobody's going to take me seriously. I don't have enough experience. I'm brand new. Nobody would take me seriously if they knew what I'd been through, if they knew what I did, if they knew my past, if they knew how many days in a row I didn't shower during COVID. Right? But guess what? Like, as soon as I'm saying this thing, I'm hoping that you're having that other good inner voice, not that inner critic that's saying to you, everybody has a beginning. Everybody has their first video, their first book, their first podcast, their first whatever it is that you want to do, their first business. And I follow this girl. Her name is Byron Katie. If you don't know her, go run to her. I'll put her picture up here. But Byron Katie has this concept where she says to question your thoughts. Because a belief is only a thought that we keep thinking, right? So it's just the same thought. It's the same thought, the same thought, the same thought. You know how often I've told myself that nobody will take me seriously? And how long I've thought that thought? So long. But lately I've been realizing that it really is only me that doesn't take me seriously. Because the minute that I take myself seriously, guess what? I get that vibration out. It's in my aura or whatever, okay? To where people can see it and they know it. When a businessman walks in, aside from knowing his suit or like how expensive it is or those other like cues that I don't quite understand, if somebody's taking themselves seriously, you can tell. And so it's so funny because I was thinking about creating videos and this is my dream, this is my passion to share that which I've learned throughout my life. And yet I had this voice saying that nobody's going to take me seriously. So guess how I showed up for myself? Not very seriously. I didn't spend 8 hours a day working on my craft like I would have if I was working for the man. I would work harder if I was working at Walgreens getting paid by the hour than I worked for myself. Then I respected myself. I work harder for somebody that's offering me a paycheck, even though I know that my passions, my dreams, my desires get pushed down, and it causes the depression. It causes the anger. It causes the frustration. And then you definitely can't take yourself seriously. So the biggest, singlest act that you can do to get rid of this voice and take your power back is through action. You know, I was going to say that. It is through action. Guess what? Some people have a microphone, you know, and it's like on a little stand and it looks really cool. I have this one. Hi, I'm holding it because there's nothing going to stop me because I am committed to myself and I know that I'm so serious about my message and what I want to share with the world. And what I want to share with the world is empowering. It's empowerment. And it's saying that you, just as you are good enough. You're way better than you think, honestly. And so when you start to think in lack, like, oh, no one's going to take me seriously because fill in the blank, I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough money. I don't have the best equipment. I don't have the credentials. All of those are lies too. So we'll get to it. This is the first in a series. But one of the things that you can do is when that lie, that belief, that thought runs through your brain of feeling like you aren't going to be taken seriously, just remind yourself that the only way that other people can take you seriously is when you start taking yourself seriously. So maybe get out a paper, maybe write down, what would I do differently if I did take myself seriously? You know, a flip of that would be to say, who in my dream world, like you know, the person within the field that you want to be in. So like if you want to be a writer, like I don't know if it's Harry Potter or whatever, right? Like, well, not Harry Potter, but the girl that wrote Harry Potter. You would say, if I was that person, I would probably be doing things a little bit different than I'm doing them now. It's not quite saying act as if, but there is something to that, right? If you act as if, you do have the respect of others and they are taking you seriously and they care what you have to say because what you have to say is valuable, then I feel like your content, your actions are going to look different. So for me, wanting to be a content creator that provides value for others by empowering them, that's going to be me creating the videos. That's going to be me spending time tweaking my message so that it can be heard by the most people, so that it can provide the most value. So the first thought that we are banishing and we're not believing anymore is that nobody's going to take me seriously. And the best way is to A, take yourself seriously, and B, to get into action. You know, Tony Robbins has this thing where it's like, you know, you think about the magician within you and you ask the magician like any question that you want to ask it. And then the magician like answers you. Okay. It's kind of esoterical, but I asked the magician the other day within me, a question like, how can you just put this magic into my life so that I don't have to work so hard, that I don't have to like be afraid all the time that it's not going to work out? And the magician in me said, once you're in motion, I can turn my magic so much easier, more powerful, more beneficial. When you're just sitting there doing nothing, it's harder to, you know, poof something into your life. So I don't know. That's just my own personal magician. But I know that even the warrior in me thirsts for the journey. It's Wonder Woman, if you wanted to know. But get into action and don't believe that thought anymore that says nobody's going to take me seriously. Because as soon as you start taking yourself seriously, watch the reflection in the world. It's for sure going to change.